So, each of us has our own story as to what brought us to essential oils. So, let's go back for me first. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Kansas. And I grew up during a time when processed food became super popular. And I remember going shopping with my mother, and the first time she let me buy a Lunchable, I was around when they made those when they first came out. And how exciting was that? I got to have my Lunchable for my lunch every day at school, and I got to have bologna and cheese sandwiches. It was a time frame when it was fast and easy food for the family. But then, maybe when I was like 17, my parents realized that maybe some of our health issues in our gut had to do with what we were feeding our gut. And so that is when my health and wellness journey began. And they revamped our entire home to lots of vegetables, lots of fresh fruits and veggies, and not anything processed. That was a hard time to adjust to. And I'm sure you can identify with that a little bit because it's not easy to make a change. But then I went off to college, became a teacher. So I'm a teacher by trade. And then my husband and I got married at the age of 24. And when we got married, I had to decide, how was I going to cook for him? A couple years later, we had a child to our home. How was I going to cook for him? And then we added more children. And so the journey began to grow bigger in my heart with, what am I going to feed my family? How am I going to care for their body if they are sick, or if they, I didn't even think about like things that I could be doing on a daily basis to keep their body above the wellness line. It never occurred to me until my son did end up in the hospital. And that's the defining moment when I realized that maybe we weren't as healthy as I had thought we were. Maybe there were some things that I could do in my life to make some changes. But it was a slow process. I began to realize that juicing was a good thing every day, that eating more fruits and vegetables, it was like coming back to what I learned at 17 to some degree. And then I learned about essential oils. Had never, ever known about them or thought about them or knew how to use them. But the Lord directs our steps, and He directed my steps to some wonderful ladies within our church and a naturopath that just happened to go to our church. You know, it's just so happened that the steps were just placed in the right order, that I learned about how to use essential oils on a daily basis. That's where I found Young Living. Before that, though, life wasn't very easy during the time of my husband being a teacher in America and me staying at home to raise our children. Once I started having kids, I decided to stay home with them and homeschool them myself. And it was hard because during that time, we had suicide, a family suicide. We had almost lost myself twice to ectopic pregnancies. My son had been very sick and hospitalized, and that equaled a ton of medical bills, like a lot, to the point where sometimes the water got shut off. Electricity was hard. The ginormous bills for electricity in the Texas heat was very difficult. My husband decided that, oh my goodness, everybody he loved was either dying or almost dying, and so the depression sat in for him. And those days were very dark. I don't know if you've had dark days, but it's sometimes hard to see out of the darkness. But again, the Lord directs our steps. And so as we learn to slowly change some things about our health, about what we were feeding our body or not feeding our body, my eyes began to be opened to what was ahead. I realized that, what I put on my skin mattered. So then I started saying, okay, I'll check every bottle at the store to make sure it doesn't have this chemical or that chemical. Oh, you mean I should think about my deodorant? I hadn't thought about that. oh, my soap, like the things I put in my soap or don't put in my soap matter. Started flipping over the bottles. That was an eye-opening experience. But what did that equal? That equaled me taking forever at the grocery store or seeking out multiple places to shop because, oh, well, they don't have the right kind of soap, or it's truly not organic and it said it was. So I was going everywhere. That's exhausting. So I would have to flip over the bottles and make sure it didn't have this, that, or the other in it, and thought there's got to be a better way. So I had been using essential oils already from Young Living, but I didn't know that, it's a one-stop shop. So I asked my naturopath, is there a better way? Like, what about deodorant? Or how about household cleaner? My child, I'm mopping the floor and he's licking it after I mop it. Maybe I should think about what he might be licking. So as that journey was going forward, she said, yeah, it's a one-stop shop at Young Living. Oh my goodness. I had been paying retail price to her for like over a year. So I could do this cheaper? She said, yeah, you can get your own wholesale account. Genius. So I started with my wholesale account, which is 24% off the retail price. And I thus began our home slowly transferring over into Young Living product. That also meant that those dark days of not being able to pay bills, all of a sudden, there was a little income coming in. And I had no idea how it was happening. Guess what? I was telling people my experiences with the oils, my experiences with the supplements, my experience with the cleaning supplies. All I was doing was sharing. And people were joining our team. I didn't even know I had a team. But the paychecks came, and as they did, I was able to start buying product, but not having to use my money. The product was free because the income was coming in. So I could support my family with products that I trusted, with products that I knew for sure were safe, with a company that guaranteed the seed to seal, and that was a done deal for me. It was like, oh my goodness, this money comes in, I get to share what I love, the money comes in, and then I can buy what I need or want for my family, for our future. So at that point, I was like, done deal. Continue to share. And now, 11 years later, I stand before you today and can tell you that I'm so thankful for the decision I made to have a wholesale account with Young Living, because it has provided income for our family so that I'm able to still stay at home with our children. We are able to do things with that income that I would never have fathomed before if I had not made the decision to join Young Living. Now, if a bill comes in or a certain situation happens with a medical thing or we just have unexplained expenses, right? My paycheck is able to take care of that. I'm able to bless other people as the Lord leads me to give, and that's what we're called to do. So it's so exciting to be a part of something bigger in the future. So thank you for listening to my story. I can't wait to hear yours, and I thank you for giving of your time to hear it. Have a great day.